Hey, boys and girls, my reading friends. Did you know that there is so much to think about as you're reading a book? There's so many things that you can think about while you're reading. You could think about the characters that you're reading about. See my think bubble? You could think about all the characters and what you like and don't like about them. You could think about the setting of the book, where the book's taking place, when and where. You could think about, has this ever happened to me before? Has something like this ever happened to you before? You could also think about, if you're reading a funny book, you could think about something funny that happens in a book. I love to think about the fun things that happen in a book. You could think about a problem, if a book has a problem that you're reading, and you could also think about what solves that problem. Um, Let's read today together. Miss Malarkey Doesn't Live in Room 10. I love this book. I love to read this book to boys and girls at the beginning of the book. Have you ever thought about if your teacher lives at school? I bet your teachers think they've been living at school lately because they've been working so hard. Let's read and let's think as we read. Let's just practice. So this is Miss Malarkey Doesn't Live in Room 10. Oh my goodness. I'm thinking that this little boy right here, these two little boys are playing around. They might get in trouble if they're not careful. Let's see what happens. Look at this page. Can you see? Does it look like a teacher is teaching at nighttime? It looks like she's got her television in front of her. Do you think that your teacher has a TV at school? I know that Miss Malarkey, my teacher, lives right here at school in room 10. It does look like she's living in her classroom. Don't you think teachers work long, long hours? I think they do. They have to prepare all their lessons for you. That's where she marks our papers and puts up all the next day's work. Boy, it looks like that teacher is tired. I know teachers are tired right now. She's even got her pajamas on. I'm thinking that it looks like she's had a long day. She eats dinner in the cafeteria. Her table is always the best. Look at all the adults. Do you ever see adults like that in the cafeteria here at Welcome? I'm not sure that I've seen that many adults here at Welcome eating in the cafeteria. After dinner, she plays in the gym with the other teachers, and she never forgets her gym clothes. Look at all those teachers having fun after the kids leave. That looks like our stage also at Welcome Elementary. Do you think that teachers do that in the gym when you guys leave school, if you were at school? I wonder what the teacher's room looks like. That must be where they all sleep. No wonder kids aren't allowed in there. I'm sure teachers don't want us to see their messy room. Have you ever wondered what the teacher lounge looks like? I don't know. I'm not sure if there are beds. I've never seen a bed in the teacher's lounge. Room 10 is a great place to live. It's near the best water fountain in the whole school, the only one that squirts up lots of water. And the boys' room is right across the hall. Oops, I mean the girls' room isn't too far away either. I'm thinking that those teachers would get in trouble too, just like students would. Look at them at the water fountain. Well, they all look tired. But last week, Miss Malarkey came to our apartment house with a mountain of boxes. Mom says she's gonna live here now. Have you ever seen a moving truck in your neighborhood? I saw a moving truck in my neighborhood this summer when I had new neighbors to move in. I'm thinking that the teacher is going to move into close to one of her students. How would you like your teacher to live near you? A few days ago when Mom and I baked cookies, she asked me to bring some upstairs to Miss Malarkey. I told her I needed a pass. Before I knocked, I spit out my gum. You know, teachers tell you to spit out your gum in their classrooms. What are you thinking about how he's feeling? How do you think he's feeling having to go take cookies to his new neighbor that's a teacher of his? Maybe he's nervous. When she opened the door, she gave me a great big hug. Then I saw her feet. Ooh, Miss Malarkey had no shoes on or socks or even slippers. I could see Miss Malarkey's toenails, and they were bright red. Here are some cookies Mom made for you, Miss Miss Malarkey. I felt my cheeks getting red as Miss Malarkey's toes were. He just about called his teacher Miss Feet because he was looking at her feet. Do you think that he might have been embarrassed? I think he might have been embarrassed. That very same day, I spotted her throwing out her garbage. She never does that at school. Why doesn't she throw her garbage away at school? Do you think she has someone at school that throws her garbage out? Maybe Miss Donna or Mr. Zach or Mr. Jose. She doesn't need to throw out her own garbage. On Saturday, I saw some people going into Miss Malarkey's apartment. She was having a party. And it wasn't even someone in the class's party. Have you ever thought if your teachers have friends outside of school? I know that teachers have a lot of teacher friends in school. I told everyone in my class that our teacher doesn't live in room 10. Some of them still don't believe me, so I showed them. What do you think's going on now? He's pointing to his teacher and she's walking home. It looks like she's carrying a bag of groceries. I like having Miss Malarkey live in the same apartment house as me, but I won't see her much when I go to second grade. Next year I'll have Mrs. Boba. Mrs. Boba doesn't live in my building. What do you think's going on at school that day? Probably field day. That's a fun day. I guess she lives in room 12. What a good book. Do you see how many things that you can think about as you're reading? I want to challenge you. This is something you could do at home. You could draw a picture of yourself. Now, this isn't a very good picture of me. But you could write the title of the book that you read, and all around up here above your head where your brain is, you could write down some thoughts. You could stop while you're reading, and you could jot down some things that you're thinking about when you're reading. See you next week, guys. Have a great week. Bye.